The Gospel of John opens with words that deliberately echo Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. In beginning was the Word, and the Word was toward the God, and the Word was God. In Greek the verse reads, En arche ein ha logos, kai ha logos ein pros tom theon, kai theos ein ha logos. This is not just a theological statement, it is also a remarkably ordered structure. And when the verse is examined numerically, patterns begin to appear. John chapter 1 verse 1 contains 17 words. It contains 52 letters, and it naturally divides into 3 phrases. Phrase 1 says, In beginning was the Word. Phrase 2 says, And the Word was toward the God. Phrase 3 says, And the Word was God. So before we even look at the values of the words, the verse already presents itself in a balanced form. 3 phrases, with the center phrase set between 2 matching outer phrases. Now, look at the word and letter counts of the 3 phrases. Phrase 1 has 5 words and 15 letters. Phrase 2 has 7 words and 22 letters. Phrase 3 has 5 words and 15 letters. So the word structure is 5-7-5. And the letter structure is 15-22-15. The 2 outer phrases match each other, and the center phrase stands in the middle as the largest section. The verse is not scattered. It is arranged. Now, one of the most striking patterns appears in the center phrase. Phrase 2 has 22 letters made up of 7 words. So the middle phrase gives us 22 divided by 7. And 22 over 7 is the classic approximation of pi, 3.14. So right at the center of John chapter 1 verse 1, the structure points to the number of the circle. And that immediately recalls the pattern we saw in Genesis chapter 1 verse 1. In Genesis, the first letters of the 7 Hebrew words total 22. Divided by the 7 words, they also point to 22 over 7. So both opening verses carry a pi connection. Now look again at the letter totals. Phrase 1 has 15 letters. Phrase 2 has 22 letters. Add them together. 15 plus 22 equals 37. Now move to the other side. Phrase 2 has 22 letters. Phrase 3 has 15 letters. Add them together. 22 plus 15 equals 37. So the number 37 appears on both sides of the center phrase. On the left side, phrase 1 and phrase 2 form 37 letters. On the right side, phrase 2 and phrase 3 also form 37 letters. The same number appears from both directions. This symmetry also appears in the running letter count. When the letters are counted forward, the number 37 falls at the end of phrase 2. When the letters are counted backward, the number 37 falls at the beginning of phrase 2. So phrase 2 is framed by the number 37 from both directions. That means the middle phrase not only gives the pi ratio of 22 over 7, it also sits inside a letter structure that produces 37 from both sides. Now notice another layer. Phrase 1 has 5 words. Phrase 2 has 7 words. So 5 plus 7 equals 12. On the other side, phrase 2 has 7 words. Phrase 3 has 5 words. So again, 7 plus 5 equals 12. Now that matters because 37 is the 12th prime number. So the verse does not only produce the number 37, it also produces 12 on both sides of the center phrase. And 12 points directly back to 37 as the 12th prime. So the structure gives both the number and the prime position of the number. Now look at the word that anchors the entire verse. Logos, the word. The Greek word logos appears 3 times. Once in phrase 1, once in phrase 2, and once in phrase 3. So logos is placed across the entire verse, beginning, middle, and end. And each time the value of logos by itself is the same, 373. That alone is striking, but the number becomes even more interesting when we look at it closely. The value of logos is 373, and that number visibly contains the mirror pair, 37 and 73. So the repeated word at the center of John's opening verse carries the same 2 numbers that stand behind Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. But there is more. 373 is also the 74th prime number, and 74 equals 2 times 37. So the value of logos does not merely contain 37 and 73, it is also placed at a prime position built from 37 doubled. Even in reduced value, logos equals 22. That brings us back again to the center phrase, where 22 letters stand over 7 words. Now look at the final phrase. In Greek word order, the phrase is kai theos ein ha logos, and the word was God. This final phrase forms its own numerical mirror. The first 3 Greek words are kai theos ein. Together, those 3 Greek words carry a value of 373. Then comes the article ha, meaning the. Its value is 70. Then comes logos. Its value is also 373. So the final phrase forms a mirror. 373, 70, 373. The phrase says that the word was God. And numerically, it places the value of logos on both sides of the center. Now take the phrase ha logos, meaning the word. Its value is 443, and 443 is the 86th prime number. Now, return to Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. The Hebrew word Elohim, meaning God, has a value of 86. So in Genesis, Elohim is 86. And in John, the phrase the word has a value that stands as the 86th prime. That creates a remarkable link between the 2 opening verses. Genesis opens with God, John opens with the word, and the number 86 appears as a bridge between them. The same connection appears at the very beginning of John. The first 2 words are NRK, meaning in beginning. Their value is 774, and 774 equals 86 times 9. So the opening phrase, in beginning, is built on 86. Then the phrase, the word, points to 86 again through prime position. Both the beginning and the word point back to Elohim in Genesis. There is also a striking echo in the constant E. The phrase ha logos has a value of 443. In the decimal expansion of E, the sequence 443 begins at decimal position 373. And 373 is the value of logos itself. So the value of the phrase the word appears in E at the position marked by the value of logos. Now step back and look at the full total. The standard Gematria value of John chapter 1 verse 1 is 3,627. The ordinal value is 657. And 657 equals 73 times 9. So even in ordinal value, the number 73 appears again. That matters because Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 is built so strongly around 37 and 73. And here, John chapter 1 verse 1 continues to echo that same numerical world. Now the connection becomes larger than one verse. Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 has a value of 2,701. John chapter 1 verse 1 has a value of 3,627. Add them together. 2,701 plus 3,627 equals 6,328. And 6,328 is the 112th triangular number. So the 2 opening verses together form a completed triangle. Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 is already triangular by itself. It is the 73rd triangular number. But when John chapter 1 verse 1 is added to Genesis chapter 1 verse 1, the total becomes 6,328. That means the 2 verses together form the 112th triangular number. So John does not merely echo Genesis in theme. It also complements Genesis in number. Genesis lays the inner foundation. John completes the larger form. This is one of the most beautiful visual conclusions. Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 forms the inner triangular foundation. John chapter 1 verse 1 fills the remaining value needed to complete the larger 112th triangle. So the first verse of the Bible and the first verse of John do not stand isolated from each other. They fit together. Text and number. The beginning and the word. Genesis and John. There is one more detail in the completed triangle. A triangle with 112 rows has a perimeter of 333. And 333 equals 37 times 9. So even the outer edge of the combined Genesis and John triangle returns to 37. The structure begins with Genesis continues through John, and is bordered again by the number 37. Now the whole picture comes together. John chapter 1 verse 1 is built in 3 balanced phrases. The center phrase gives 22/7, the ancient approximation of pi. The center joins to either side to form 37 letters over 12 words. And 37 is the 12th prime number. Logos, the word, has a value of 373. That value contains 37 and 73. And it is the 74th prime, where 74 is 2 times 37. The final phrase forms a mirror. 373, 70, 373. The phrase, the word, points back to Elohim in Genesis, to the 86th prime. The beginning of John points back to Elohim again, to 86 times 9. The phrase value of ha-logos even appears in E, at the position marked by logos. And when John is joined to Genesis, the 2 opening verses complete the 112th triangular number. Genesis opens with creation. John opens with the word. And the numbers do not feel scattered. They feel ordered. They feel placed. And if Scripture bears a signature in its opening lines, John chapter 1 verse 1 belongs with Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 as part of that design. This is why we call it the signature in the Word.